Why did this witch get so mad at us?
One power, the highest power.
Because nothing you did had anything to do with Jesus, but your own glorification. Because you are a group of bullies who has nothing better to do than make this mock pretense of worshiping God while surrounding someone's business at night with a mob. Hey friend, how comfortable would you feel if 40 people you didn't know just started approaching your house at night? Whenever I read about Jesus in the Bible, he sure as fuck wasn't doing shit like that. In fact, I remember multiple times where the apostles had to go looking for him because he went to go worship God and talk to God in private, away from everyone else. We all know that this whole bullshit about worshiping God is a pretense. Now, forget these people for a moment. The reality is that all of my friends here, especially all of my Christian witch friends, this is not the time to look at folks like this and despair. This is not the time for any of that kind of shit. What this is a time for is organized action. Now, obviously, not all of us live in the area that this shop is in. However, if we're going to do anything that has anything to do with our God, with our magic, with anything else, it should be organized. As Christian witches, this is our mess to clean up. It is. It is. In fact, when I talked about how Christian witchcraft is political, part of this is why. Part of this is exactly why. We need to actually become the cleanup force now. This is no longer about just being cute and doing spells and la 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 and hanging out with Jesus. This is the era that this movement was started for. So go and be that movement. What you really want to be doing, if you do not live in this person's area, this shop's area, what you really want to be doing, first of all, is obviously a little bit of witchcraft. Not on these goofy people. No. Leave them alone. Let God do what he's going to do with these people. If anything, I would offer those prayers, that attention, that energy into protecting that shop and covering that woman's space. As well as protecting her. Because this individual going to make a fuss like that and then spinning such a clear and obvious problem into his victimhood, into his group's victimhood, will come with the express purpose of being a dog whistle for other people in that area to do some dumb, stupid shit. So, protections for her and for her shop. Moreover, because she has displayed the grace that Jesus tells people to display that is so obviously absent in his followers, we might also pray for her gratification, right? Maybe, what's the word for it? Some compensation, right? That she might get a little bit of a blessing out of this fucking disaster that just showed up on her doorstep. If God is anything, it is a master alchemist turning bad into good, right? And if you are in her area and you have the time, I would suggest reaching out to her and asking if she needs anything, right? If there's anything that would make her feel better, that would make her feel safe, if there's any way that you can work together to organize, maybe a watch force, a lookout force, to prevent things like this from happening again. Because when people like this fucking guy feel emboldened, they start doing extra stupid shit, right? Not saying that this person would do anything more than the stupid shit he's already done, but anyone watching that video, things can happen. It is a dark and disgusting day when Christianity has become so synonymous with everything it was never supposed to be. But if we know anything about history, that era, in fact, started the true spread of this institution. If we take a look at history, we know that this is what Christians have always done in the face of things they do not like, that threatens them, that challenges their worldview. However, now 2025 is not 400 or so CE. We can let this go a little bit differently than it went for the late stage Roman Empire. Rather than stand by helplessly while a violent and uneducated mob runs around threatening and destroying things, like they did back in the day. We can instead confront them head on. We can instead understand the concept of human rights, and we can also remind them that they do not get to hold the title Christian and monopolize it. They do not get to claim that their way of being Christian is the only way of being Christian, is even the a way that you should be Christian. We can remind people that these people, what they are control freaks, power-hungry, horrible people out here weaponizing a religion to do the horrible things that they would have no pretext for doing otherwise and would not be able to so easily justify. Isn't it funny that these kinds of people will ask an atheist what stops them from killing people if they don't have religion? But really what you want to ask them is, how would you justify killing people if you didn't have religion? There is no room in civilized society for these kinds of people. There is no room in society of any kind for people who would go out there, very obviously try to intimidate and threaten a business, and then turn around and claim that it was all in the spirit of love. These kinds of people will poison every definition of love if left unchallenged. So, whatever your methods, wherever you are, it is our duty to challenge this blatantly just bold attempt to poison the very concept of love. So hey Richard, the demons you claim are coming out in the face of true Jesus are actually all of the good people who can recognize the real Jesus from your papier-mâché hackneyed fucked up version of him. This real Jesus you speak of, ironically, is not the real Jesus. There are no demons coming out at your blatant attempt to use mob tactics to intimidate people. There is no Jesus to be found anywhere in your channel. There is only a sad, sad little shadow that you and thousands of other people across America, in fact maybe even hundreds of thousands, have used continuously to corrupt the holy word, to falsify the image of God, and to therefore justify all of your terrible, hateful bullshit. There is no real Jesus written anywhere on what you are doing. You're a sham. You're a lie. And all you have, and all you've done, in the name of God and in the service of your false God, it will reap its just deserts. And none of us in the Christian witch community even have to lift a fucking finger for it. Mind yourself.